Okay, Sue, Hazel, and my guess is Ken's going to come up because they're going to talk a little bit about what we did yesterday. And if you look up at the PowerPoint, those are just a few pictures we took from yesterday. So,
we had an amazing time yesterday. We were at Brown Memorial. We served over 150 children, which just was joyful. And we took away from it as much as the children took away from it. Although they had lots of candy, and we want to thank all of you for your generous donations. It was so helpful and so rewarding, and you were there participating. We enjoyed each other very much. We laughed a lot. We encountered other people, other trunk-or-treaters. The children got tons of candy, toothbrushes, apples, which Kenny can talk about that. What else? Toys from Sylvia. It just was wonderful. So we're enthusiastic about next year. Yesterday brought a tent and a heater, and it saved the day. It was a good way to get other people over to talk to us. It was a nasty, cold, somewhat rainy day, weather-wise, but we enjoyed it so much.
I don't know what to add to that other than it was my first trunk-or-treat ever, and the first one at Brown, and it was really nice because it was a lot of the neighborhood kids, and these kids, I grew up in the city, and people that lived out in Lafayette and Tully, they would come into the city to trunk or treat. These kids live in the city, but they have nowhere they have no transportation to get places, and the houses right around them aren't in a position to hand out candy. So I really felt that we were in a good place. And I think it was appreciated, and the parents appreciated it. They were very polite and thankful. It was just it was a really nice experience, and I hope it again too. But before Ken talks, I just wanted to say I have the 4 dates for the dinners at Brown for next year, and I would put them on in the next to the refreshments at coffee hour if anybody wants to get a sneak peek at them.
Eye-opening to go over there. In my profession, I worked a lot in the areas of the city, and my eyes are kind of closed to good people because I felt the worst. And it's heartwarming to go over there and see these people so appreciative, genuinely appreciative, and to watch the kids. We had a little kid that was so much into the spirit. He was about that big. And when he said, she's trick or treat, and she's giving you the candy. And she's already collected. You know, it's like, so it's great. And there was another little guy in the wagon. He was eating his gummy bears or whatever. And I said, can I have one of those? Can't get right to you. I mean, it's a good experience.
I have one more thing to add. The pictures up here are obviously from yesterday. If you don't recognize the man on the left on the lower right picture, it's because he's a Viking. And he won the costume contest. The kids loved it. He had a sword. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you again for all of you helping the way you did.
And Sue had a nice, cute little tail.
I did not know there was an actual contest going on. The kids loved me because at least I had 2 kids try to grab my sword, and I was like, because it was actually real, and it was sharp, and I was like, no, we can't do that. But it was fun. Does anyone have any questions kind of about what we did, about Brown in general? Because I really do see this as we move forward. It is becoming very apparent. This is going to become one of St. Paul's bigger mission concentrations, I think, is working very closely with this church on the west side. So does anyone have any questions? Sure.
There was apparently there was a little medical emergency across the street on the way I'm taking it there. None of us saw it at first. We're all busy with what we're doing. We look over and there's police cars and there's someone on the ground and there's all this stuff. And I thought these little kids that are here having fun, this is something they see all the time. And I thought, how sad is that to grow up with? And they kind of, and nobody was, I mean, we didn't see it. We would have responded to anything we could have done, but by the time we realized it, the police were there and it was on the block. These little kids see this stuff all the time, and that stayed with me.
And that's one thing I've learned doing mission to like Guatemala and stuff. And the conference has asked me to lead a team to Arizona next spring. And what I've learned is you don't know what you don't know. People who grow up in poorer situations, they only know that. And so they don't know anything else. And so we go in used to another way, and it shocks us a little bit at first. It shocks us how they could live this way. It shocks us with the kind of things that go on. So what Sue was talking about is a gentleman OD'd across the street from Brown. It's a common occurrence. Brown, and I hope the pastor at Brown, many of the people there are certified to use Narcan because it happens. It's happened. I've been at a meal where it's happened in the meal when we were serving. They come in to get something to eat and it just catches them. And Sue's right. These kids, it doesn't even faze them. Like, it's just a way of life that they see happen, and they don't let it spoil the fun that is going on in their world at that moment. And we look at it and go, oh, how sad. But they don't see it that way. And that gentleman did not go to the hospital. He chose to get up afterwards, and then he sat across listening to the music and watching the festivities, not in a good shape, but you obviously can't force people to the hospital. So I say that not to scare you, because it happens a lot. And there was another car there from Camilla's First, actually. And so I had a little shadow for a while. Well, not little. He's pretty big now. And we were talking about this way people, particularly in the suburbs, are afraid of the west side. They're afraid to come in. And they're afraid of something that isn't there. They're afraid that humanity is going to consume them over there. When in reality, you just heard that over there, humanity actually lifts you up. You come in and you basically participate in life. You're not helping, you're there being. And in reality, these kids are sharing. These kids are saying thank you. They are laughing and playing. My truck has a big soccer ball print on the hood right now, which is fine. Like, that's normal. I looked at the kid and he was like all scared. And I said, do you know how many windows I've broken with a soccer ball? It's normal. And so as we move forward, as we look at Brown, because Brown really is an outpost I want to encourage you to really say, how can I join this? Can I join this? Because trunk or treat isn't going to be the only thing. There are other things that we could get involved with. There's a food pantry that operates out of there. There are the dinners that Sue talked about that we do, well, right now, 4 times a year. There is so much that goes on over there. They run an after-school program, or they did. I haven't heard if they're still doing it. So as we, as a church, come together and say, because you've heard me say it probably almost every week, go out, get out of these walls, go engage, build relationships. As we start to think about really purposefully doing that for God, Brown's going to be one of the spots. No doubt in my mind. There is some change coming within the city churches. I've kind of told leadership that, and I don't know the details yet. No one does. But it's coming. Brown and the west side of Syracuse will not change. That will continue. And all we can do is be there. I was really glad Sue came. I was really glad she saw it. I know she's been at the meals before. This is a little different. This is a little more joyful. It is a little more engaging. You know, we had people, and there were people from all ages serving. There was as young as 10 years old running around serving candy, and as old as, I bet you a couple of those ladies were probably well into their 80s. Oh, older than you. Fair enough. But they didn't even have a car. They were just sitting in chairs. So this is not something that it's for just the physically fit. It is something that anyone can do. And I hope that we all consider, you know, we all have our talents and what we can do, and I hope we all consider that moving forward. Now, any questions? I rambled a little longer than I wanted to. Okay.
Last weekend, I was fortunate enough to introduce ourselves.
You better use the microphone for this one.
The Matthew 25 farm down in Bessemer. There's a group that goes out, they have 40 acres that they farm, and they give everything away. They gave us all the apples, pretty good truckload. Tomatoes, what they had left of the season. But there's an opportunity that they may work with us on a garden out back. Bring their equipment, till the land, but it's going to take some of us to get involved. It's a possibility. One other thing is, this is Sketchy. This is going over there and helping. It was an organization that is religious. They were there serving a meal yesterday at the same time. They served 147. And it was a really good feeling to see it all taking place.
And they were serving something that the west side and the south side and valley don't see, because we are what's called a food desert. They were serving vegan meals. I was told whatever they were serving was vegan. If they had vegan hot dogs, well, that's a whole nother thing. So again, it just shows you the opportunity that's out there to serve as we move forward. So, any questions, thoughts? None? Gotta let it absorb. Yes?
In my job, I don't know, I work at Syracuse University Financial Aid, and we volunteer our time at the city high schools to help the students fill out the FAFSA. And I've been in Nottingham, Corcoran, Henniger, Fowler, all of them. Those kids are so appreciative of any help. And, you know, we kind of give them access to getting out of, you know, improving their life and getting to school. But at the beginning, I was a little nervous going to Fowler.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's something we have to realize, that those of us that live outside the city have probably built this kind of image. Why? Because the news has pictured the west side, this train wreck of an area where the houses are burning and falling down and people are laying in the streets, and they're not compared to other places in this country. I was telling people about Philadelphia, where you think the west side is bad, go to Philadelphia and Kensington, and then you will know and understand bad. But we build this picture, and we say these people, if we go in there, may hurt us, may damage us. And this is why people get so afraid to come into the city, particularly on the west side, particularly on the south side, even into the valley, because we have this picture of our lives are in danger, when the reality is that's not true at all. Unless you're coming in to actually pick up drugs, then you might be in trouble. Let me make sure I preface that. If you're coming in to get guns or drugs or something to that effect, yes, you are then taking your life into your own hands. But that's not what we're here to do. So again, something to think about. If you have thoughts down the road, please come and talk to me. As most of you know, mission is my wheelhouse besides disability. So I really love to engage things like this, and obviously I've been pushing this from July of last year. So